We need to have multiple level legal agreements. This is something that we got caught totally off guard on. We didn't realize really what was going to be involved. So, you know, you need these proposed anchor tenant agreements, letters of intent, infeasible rights of use for your fiber, dark fiber lease agreements, service level agreements, municipal access agreements, Fortis Alberta joint uses if you're going to use their poles and do aerial stuff. You need construction build agreements, project management agreements, fiber to the premise product supply agreements, consulting agreements, service agreements for on-call, equipment, database, GIS, testing, splicing, dark fiber maintenance. The list goes on. And we are just sort of shaking our head wondering, my goodness, how are we going to do all this?
But we are.
But we are. Absolutely, we're moving forward. These agreements are being drawn up, and we're just filling up databases with words. So we needed to assemble a team, of course, to analyze the financial issues, the new technologies, and the old technology myths. And this has been a huge thing for a bunch of volunteers who really know nothing about technology. Here I am as a local pharmacist trying to build a high-end technology network, and we're looking around saying, who can help us do this? And this has been a very difficult thing to find assistance in, because really nobody knows what is the right thing. So fiber to the premise, fiber to the node, this new thing called DOCSIS 3.0 technology, data over cable service interface specifications. This is supposed to be capable of delivering 100 meg range over coax as it exists today. But we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it demonstrated. We don't see it as being a reality, but they're talking about it. And of course, then we talk about all the new generation wireless. We're now into 4G, of course. Not just the next generation, now we're into the fourth generation, which we don't really, understand, but we understand that it's not as powerful as fiber. The whole WiMAX, the LTE long-term evolution wireless systems are coming. Do we stop what we're doing and engage this type of technology? It's very, very confusing. But at the same time, nobody has knocked us off our pillar as far as proving to us that fiber is not still the best answer. From a business perspective, we believe we should not pay expensive overbuild on existing networks or existing infrastructure. So we have been trying to engage the SuperNet people. They have fiber within our community. Why don't we just upgrade that fiber, and then we can enhance what we're going to do and do our networks off at the end of that? Well, I'll tell you what, that's not simple, because it's even unclear actually who controls and owns the fiber within the SuperNet. And so we have spent 6 months trying to discern who exactly do we engage in the use of the SuperNet network. And it's a very, very big question, and it's causing us some time. The development of education strategy is also huge for us, since the level of technology is new to the majority of businesses, residents, and service providers in the region. We are completing a gap analysis, which will aid in the development of a blueprint for an education strategy targeted at small and medium-sized businesses, as well as citizens and service providers in the region. It will help us identify successful strategies to encourage broadband technology use. We have a community, as most communities are, that are not aware of what the uses of broadband could be, because we've never had it to experience. So the ultimate goal is to increase community awareness of the competitive advantages of broadband technology infrastructure, and ultimately provide opportunities to reverse the flow of youth migration to urban communities and attract new families and businesses to our region. And of course, an effective communication strategy, as Sterling has talked about, is absolutely important to engage the community. So the good news, we have rubber on the pavement. We have issued a contract to design our fiber network. That contract was signed 2 weeks ago. So hopefully within the next couple of months, we'll actually know what the network will look like and what's involved in the building of the network. The next stage, of course, there will be then a contract to actually put the fiber into the community. And we're hoping that by the spring or late summer, we'll be in the ground with this, and we'll start to see some lit fiber as early as 2010. So the question then, of course, still remains, what will be the take rates? and will these be answered with experiential data and not guesswork? So hopefully we'll be able to come back to you in a year's time and say, this is what will happen if you put fiber into your community, this is what it will cost you, this is what money you can perhaps make upon this, or at least pay your bills. Is it logical for a small market such as Olds and other communities? And so that's where we're at. We do need to acknowledge that the Rural Alberta Development Fund is funding part of our process here, and we've also received some money directly from the Alberta government in order to take our fiber to the premise project forward. So we want to acknowledge that and thank them. So thank you.
So with that, thanks, Joe. If there are any questions that we could answer, we'd be only too happy to do our best. So we can answer questions without asking other questions, because we seem to be full of questions.
Calgary. Leslie, Louise.
Hi, it's Louise Kidney speaking. Great job to see where Olds has come in and talking about fiber to the premise. I think it'd be really great to see in Canada one community that was connected in that manner. My question, I'm just assuming now that it's built and it's done, and my question to you is, what extraordinary economic, educational, social benefits do you believe will actually happen because you have fiber to the premise?
Well, I think the first thing, of course, that we hope to have happen, of course, is for technology-driven businesses to move to our community. I think it's without saying that rents in Olds are much less than they are in the big centers. We believe, as Edson or as Hinton very clearly stated, that we have a community that we believe people want to come and live in, and so you need to have the technology to do your business, but you also need the technology for the entertainment part and the fun part about living in a community. So we believe that those two things combined will bring back our highly educated, technologically driven young people, and will change the face of our community.
I think we've got two different, there's two different groups of economic businesses, or businesses who would be interested in coming to a community like this. It's not just the businesses that focus on technology itself, but there are businesses that are highly dependent on technology. And so they may not be developing any new innovative technologies to work, but they need to have a high level of communication and broadband access in order for them to operate in whatever business endeavors they're involved in.
There's, in California, Paul Alto, the council there has actually been working on a study and a program similar to this, and they've been working on it for 15 years to bring it to their community. You might want to touch base with them, as they've got a huge amount of documentation available. Just a thought.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to comment on that a little bit, when you talk about communities such as Palo Alto, of course, you can bring fiber to a building there that will almost service as many people as live in our community. And so this small market issue is a huge issue when it comes to the deployment of any kind of technology at all. As everybody knows who is attempting to do this, small markets do not bring huge money. And so take rates become the big question, and can these companies actually make a profit? And everybody understands the need for any business to generate a profit in order to stay in business. So it's the small market question that is so different than it is from communities such as Palo Alto and some of the major fiber plays that are going on in the U.S. They're happening in big cities, and it's hard to compare them.